Early voting underway in the presidential battleground of North Carolina just weeks after Hurricane Helene left some residents still without power, running water and phone service. North Carolina could be crucial in determining a winner in the U.S. presidential race, as its voting preferences could swing either way. Supporters of both Harris and Trump were vocal as Hurricane Helene, which killed more than 200 people across 6 states, has sparked questions on how it might impact voter turnout. Polls show a very tight race with a handful of swing states likely to determine the winner, as Trump and Harris are in a dead heat in North Carolina. A survey showed Trump with 48% support in state polls as compared to Harris, who had got 47.5% support. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump made digs at his opponent, Democrat Kamala Harris, and embattled New York Mayor Eric Adams while touching upon his own legal troubles in a speech at a charity gala. The annual Al Smith dinner, which benefits Catholic charities, is a New York bipartisan tradition that attracts the city's elite and extends back almost 80 years. In the past, it has been known for being an evening with candidates could gently mock themselves and their opponents. Harris was the first major party presidential candidate since Democrat Walter Mondale in 1984 to skip the event. Instead, the vice president campaigned in Wisconsin, a crucial battleground state. Trump spoke against Harris's no-show and noted that Mondale was trounced by Republican Ronald Reagan in 1984 presidential contest.
Always it's a rule. You got to go to the dinner. You got to do it. Otherwise, bad things are going to happen to you from up there. You can't do what I just saw on that screen. But my opponent feels like she does not have to be here, which is deeply disrespectful to the event, and in particular to our great Catholic community. Very disrespectful.
Meanwhile, during a campaign event in La Crosse in Wisconsin on Thursday, U.S. Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris lambasted former President Donald Trump for calling January 6th when his supporters stormed the Capitol to try to overturn his 2020 defeat, a day of love.
What did Donald Trump say last night about January 6th? He called it a, quote, a day of love. But it points out something that everyone here knows. The American people are exhausted with his gaslighting. Exhausted with his gaslighting. Enough! We are ready to turn the page!
Further, Harris said that U.S. election is going to be a tight race until the very end at a rally in Green Bay in Wisconsin.
So, Green Bay, we have 19 days until Election Day. 19 days. So we are entering the home stretch. And this is going to be a tight race until the very end. Look, we are the underdog, and that's why we are, and I am campaigning to earn every single vote, because I intend to be a president for all Americans.
All right, indeed, India's Amrit Singh joins us with more on the story from US. Amrit, with just 3 weeks left for the election, how is the last sprint of Kamala Harris and Trump coming along?
Oh, it's reached a feverish pitch. The campaigning here, both political leaders, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, are trading barbs at each other. Kamala saying people are exhausted with Donald Trump's gaslighting, making personal attacks. He saying, using the words that he uses for Kamala Harris, left-leaning lunatic, etc. So using these kind of harsh words. Kamala Harris was in Wisconsin campaigning while Donald Trump was at an event in New York. So clearly, both sides talking about their favorite topics. Kamala Harris dishing out the blame on Donald Trump for polarizing the society, for vilifying migrants, but saying that the illegal migrant crisis needs to be fixed, the system needs to be fixed. also in a Fox interview, distancing herself a bit from Joe Biden. She clearly doesn't want to carry the anti-incumbency baggage of Joe Biden's unpopular presidency along with her, saying that it will not be a continuation. You know, she trying to also woo voters in the Republican voters, especially women who may have Republican leanings, because she herself is a woman candidate. While Donald Trump is, you know, campaigning hard, especially in the swing states. Actually, both leaders are campaigning in swing states. North Carolina began early voting, huge turnout, 200,000 turnout on the first day, in the first few hours. So clearly, you know, the swing states like Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Arizona will sort of be very significant in determining the outcome of this presidential election. And as Kamala Harris herself conceded in Wisconsin, the race looks pretty tight.
So, Amrit, you spoke about early voting in North Carolina. We saw record turnout in Georgia. What does it look like, especially in North Carolina?
Oh, North Carolina is a very tight race. If you look at the polling, these early polls, the turnout is huge, 200,000 in the first few hours on Thursday when it opened. We saw a similar thing in Georgia as well. So clearly it is a close race in North Carolina. North Carolina, the difference of the percentage points is just about 0.5%, which is really no margin, given there is a margin of error. North Carolina being a swing state, it is very, very important, though for the past 4 times it has gone to the Republicans. I think 2008 was when Barack Obama won the state. That's the only time the Democrats won it. So it's been consistently with the Republicans since then. The last time around also Donald Trump took the state. So it looks like it is a very close contest, and it's not going to be easy for Kamala in North Carolina.
All right, Amrit, thanks for your analysis.